The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
We have Mike from Chicago on the line, and he has a question about digestion.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I love the show. I think it's great programming, and I'm very much of a like mind when it comes to, taking control of your own health and certainly doing your own research.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clarke.
Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we deconstruct the news pertaining to your health, fitness, and diet, and where we kind of look at what's in the news and we read it. Yeah, see if it makes sense to us. It's a beautiful day here in downtown Clearwater, folks. It's 82 degrees and the sun is shining.
A little touch of fall in the air.
Yeah, there is. You can kind of see it too. That's for sure. I mean, things are changing here in Florida, so I'm sure the rest of the nation too.
This is my favorite time of the year. This and in March, April. I like October.
Yeah, spring and fall.
Exactly.
The change of the season is always nice. I want to remind you that we have the Primal Edge that's coming up, and we're actually debuting it next Friday. It'll be the 1st of October, I guess. It'll be probably the 3rd or 4th.
Good time to start, reference.
And we got everything set up. We got the commercial all done. We went to the post office, UPS, getting that all cleared up, getting the page ready. I can tell you the prices. It's going to be $89 if you ship it on a monthly basis. It'll be $119 plus shipping if you buy it just one time. Good news is, however, you're probably going to be able to use Tiger dollars for this.
Tiger dollars, guys.
Yeah, so if you got Tiger dollars running around, this is probably the best buy you can make. And I've been taking this stuff for 3 months now, and I can't tell you how good I feel. And my wife notices a big difference, and it's a really, really dynamite product. So next week we're going to do the launch.
So I think we should talk a lot about it this show and next show. And if you've got some questions, give us a call. I think it's a good time to really
the number here is 877-927-6648. I'd like to also remind you to please pick up my Health Signals newsletter. There's plenty of stuff in there, and I've got a new one I'm working on. In fact, I almost got it done. I got a roll this morning. Some customer didn't come in, so
you're on a roll.
I'm on a roll. That's
I know.
For sure.
I am too. When fall's in the air, it's a great time. But when fall's in the air, other things are in the air that we don't want to see.
No doubt about it. Let's talk about the Primal Edge just for a couple of minutes, because I think it's a huge product. It's going to be a big launch for us. I know a lot of people have expressed a real interest in it. I know my customers too, and I've been holding off with my personal customers, saying, we're going to launch it all together. First of all, the big thing is humic and fulvic acid is the basis for this, and we've talked a lot about this, and the reason that we're using this is really it's the nature's delivery system, like it says on the label.
That's right, Nico, and we know from benchmark tests that the fulvic humic that's in our product performs the best anywhere, and we have benchmark information to prove that. And the key point is, I like to help you visualize the fulvic and the humic as nature's alchemic genius. Okay? So alchemy is changing one substance, often it's lead into gold, right?
Okay.
In other words, something bad into something good. And that's exactly what fulvic humic does. So when we are no longer getting the nutrition we need, even in our best of efforts to shop at Whole Foods or wherever and get organic, the soil has been depleted. There are conscious farmers, and so I'm sure some of us are getting some good, vegetables and fruits that are grown in our own gardens. Maybe we've remediated the soil. That's wonderful. But the average person isn't. And over time, this deficit.
It's also the animals that I more worry about. Because the animals are not getting the nutrition out of the soil. They're not wild animals that we're eating most of the time.
Right.
And that's a huge difference, because our ancestors knew that the wild animal, in other words, the American Indian, knew that when he was being fed the grass-fed cow, it was a different nutrition to them. They instinctively knew that a wild animal has different instincts. Their genes are different because they're allowed to roam, search out their own food. We're forcing cows to eat certain things.
They're eating on a field that's been depleted and grass grown and thrown, and the soil's...
And the animal's different too, because no longer does it migrate.
Yeah.
And that's a huge part of being wild, is the migration. We used to be wild, and we used to move with the seasons.
I like to think I'm still kind of wild.
You are kind of, yeah.
but you know...
that's another show.
Yeah, but that's a great point, Nico. I like the way you just said that. I really think that's important in our little summary book. We've kind of been toying around with, having...
Well, the reason is, Paige, because a lot of people talk about fruits, vegetables, and organic. Right. And to me, yeah, it's important, but that's so little part of my diet. Right. My big part of the diet is the animal and what goes with the animal.
And if the animal is no longer able to graze and be wild on soils and with plants that are getting the nutrients they need based on,
right.
They're living in areas that have been over-farmed over and over again, so it's almost like they're eating grass that has nothing.
Yes. Well, the other thing is that the animals, we're not eating them the same way. In other words, we don't eat the whole animal anymore.
Right.
So we don't eat the liver and the heart and the blood and all that stuff. So we're really missing out. So that's where the humic and fulvic and the things that we have in there is so important, because now we're kind of putting the wild back into your food through this product. And that's what I really want to get across, is that this is making you more wild. And I think that's important to put in, because if we're going to be on a paleo-style diet, we're eating, like 20-25% of our meals are going to be the protein, which is the animal. The 60% is going to be the fat, the good fats of the animal.
Which is still animal.
And we have lots of fats in this.
Right. Yeah. So let's imagine you have I call it a one-shot wonder. I
like that.
I mean, yes, there's sometimes, from my perspective that I'm going to augment this, but as I said, like a three-legged stool, this is one of those legs.
Okay.
The other one's going to be the water, and I'm going to help release that.
Right.
The idea of I want to really educate you guys on the right water. But, you've got every one of your 74 plus vitamins and minerals.
Right.
You've got all your amino acids and your fatty acids.
Right.
Okay. And then you've got, these whole food phytochemical adaptogens that help. Think of it like the frequency. You've got the core requirements, and then you've got all these things that help remind the body what to do. So we're very proud of this, and we feel very good. And I want you to understand when I say it's kind of like nature's alchemic genius, when there are forms of minerals, because really everything happens. We make most of our vitamins in our body. We eat the minerals, and the minerals come from the soil. And the way they're properly made years ago for Primal Man was these fulvic humic acids, made the change in the soil so that the minerals were uptaken by the plants. Okay, so the nice thing about fulvic humic is, when we mention that it's an ability to stress less, sleep better, feel better, and detox. Fulvic humic is a natural, gentle detox that's happening, as you're going, because the fulvic and humic acid will see a mineral that's not in an optimal form for Nico to Haan to absorb, and it does that little chemical
changes
it, and if there's any part of it that doesn't need to be there, it helps escort it, binds with it, chelates it, and helps remove it from the body.
Yep.
And and it tastes good. I mean, everyone that's tasted it, really enjoys it for, the one shot in the morning. Some people like to do a half an ounce in the morning and a half an ounce in that mid-afternoon. That's
I like to get mine all over with. I mean, I take
really
all my vitamins in the morning. I used to take them, split it up during the day, and I found that I really don't need it anymore. And with this particular product, I've done away with just about everything else. I take a little bit of omega-3.
And it's a 1 ounce based on the dosage of the extra nutrition. So we took the fulvic humic multi-trace minerals that come naturally from the fulvic humic, but we enhanced it.
Yes,
Remember, like we know, research shows that due to the deficiency in selenium, the long-term deficiency, we've added the fully reduced selenium. We've added the fully reduced B vitamins. We've added the fat-soluble vitamin K2 that tells calcium to stay in the bones and out of the arteries or the eyes, right?
Yes.
So we did everything that we wanted it to do. So I want people to know, though, if budget allows it, sometimes, I mean, it's, we even have on the label, you can take up to 2 to 3 doses. You would obviously run out of the one bottle in 1 month, but there are people that are really having serious challenges and may want to order it and kind of what we call a kind of a loading dose, and then, transition.
And back off, it just makes sense.
But I want people to know it's safe.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes if there's a big size difference, there might be some cases for that. But we really designed it overall so that the average person with the one-shot wonder, morning, afternoon, or whatever, they're getting what they need.
Yeah, we're very happy with it.
Yeah.
Something in the news came up, and Danny from Atlanta apprised of this, that there's a respiratory virus hitting kids in at least 12 states.
Yeah,
and
a lot of stuff in the air right now.
Thousands of kids. And with the change in the weather, we can expect a lot of things happening. You know, when cold fronts happened, and in Florida I really noticed this, when a cold front comes down, it seems like it's pushing a lot of that stale air down with whatever's in the air, whether it's pollutants or pollen from a different part of the country that you're not used to. You know, if you're here living in Florida, you're used to all these things going on, but now all of a sudden you're getting some stuff from Georgia or Tennessee or maybe from Canada. It has those pollens in it that you're not used to, and all of a sudden it hits you, and you can kind of feel that. So this is a good time of the year to do a little detox. The Primal Edge would be perfect for that. What you did last year, you're going to do that again?
My fall protocol.
That starts in October.
Yeah.
So we're
I'm going to be working on that, guys. I'm actually going to modify it in light of what we're seeing a little bit here. You know, the key word is a respiratory virus. And we know that vitamin C is a sufficient amount of vitamin C in the body is a very good defense.
Yeah, just
defense and offense.
Massive doses of vitamin C have always worked for me. There's several little things you can do. You can take a little antibiotic type of medicine for.
You mean natural antibiotic?
Natural antibiotics.
Those would be like your garlic, your alicidin product with Premier, and also
resveratrol. Is that another one?
Resveratrol is I mean that helps. That's really helping with more of an I think that more as an anti-aging resveratrol, but it does code cell apoptosis, which kind of makes sure that you're going with new cells.
Right.
But one of my favorites is olive leaf.
Okay.
You know, it's very good for respiratory system, but I have some great formulas for that.
Yeah.
I have some great. Remember what I told you, that Dr. Marshall is a brilliant man on the planet, that whereas in the earlier years we would use glandular extracts to help heal the body, you know, but they were animal glandular extracts. We used to eat the animal glandulars. Well, Dr. Marshall has actually figured out the exact frequency of the human organs. So, for example, you know, my pneumoven is the exact cell resonance of the human lung. Adrenoven is exact human resonance of the adrenal glands. So cardioven, exact human resonance of the heart. And so you could almost think, you know, that's kind of the same concept of eating the animal. So you could still do it.
Yeah. Well, with a kids outbreak like this, I really think that a lot of kids are eating the wrong thing naturally. A lot of them eat cereals. I remember, you know, that's what I ate when I was a kid. Those depress the immune system. Yeah, so those things really depress your immune system, and then you're really susceptible to these things. So, you know, if you're parents out there and you're feeding your kids, start thinking about changing their diet to more foods that are not processed. And cereals, of course, are heavily processed. So that's the only real. And
if you haven't, if you haven't called me yet and had a consult, remember I told you, if you're a listener, 15 minutes free to talk. And if you want to have an actual consult, I'll send you a free aromatherapy inhaler that helps build your immune system. So I hope you guys will give us a call.
877-927-6648. We'll be right back, folks.
You've heard Nico Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Think or Swim, or Terrell Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
Andy Hecht's powerful weekly newsletter, the Technomental Commodity Report, has delivered multiple triple-digit winning trades in recent months. And right now's the perfect time to get a full month-long trial to Andy's newsletter with no obligation to pay anything. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you'll lock in the low rate of only $59 a month. Sign up right now for the Technomental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investments, and whether you're bullish or bearish on Chinese stocks, the ETFs from Direction Shares are there to help you magnify your perspective. Bull ETFs for a rising market and bear ETFs for a falling market. Direction Shares gives you the tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Welcome back, Tigers and Tigresses. I'm Paige Clarke, and I'm here with Nico Haan. We're living a primal lifestyle. We got Tom on the phone from Tampa. A question about pasture-raised sausage. Hey, Tom.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Nico.
What's going on?
How you doing, Paige?
Hey, sweetheart. How are you?
Doing great. Nico, I use pasteurized sausage in the morning. I don't know. For some reason, I can't find it any other way. I don't know. I'm thinking about going off that and going to grass-fed beef, just using that in the morning.
It's awesome. Grass-fed beef in the morning is fantastic. I buy sausages from Thompson Farms in Georgia, and they make some really nice sausages, and their pigs all run around in the wild. So that's probably one of the better sources. There are some other companies out there that do the same thing.
Okay, you get that in the grocery store, or you buy it straight from Georgia?
I buy it straight from Georgia.
And they ship to you, right to the door?
But there are some around here. Whole Foods may have some, but pasteurized, no, but pastured, yes. Yeah. So there's two different processes there. Pastured is, they're actually going out kind of finding their own food and maybe supplemented with something else. If it's pasteurized, it means that the meat itself has gone through a heating process to sterilize it. And that's what you don't want.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's
but a ribeye steak for breakfast, I don't think there's anything better than that.
Yeah, a little steak and eggs.
No, I was thinking just throwing a couple beef patties in there instead of a couple sausage patties in there.
There you go. Yeah,
right?
Or even pork chops. A lot of times my wife and I will be eating either a ribeye or a pork cut of some kind, and we'll have stuff left over, and that's what we use for breakfast or lunch.
And I think this is really a key point, Tom, is as Nico says, that there's a big difference between the words pasteurized and pasture-raised. And, if you can take that effort to contact a small grower or really seek out what we want to do as we're in this kind of movement of going back to primal, knowing that all the evidence points to the fact that we were designed to eat these foods, let's get back to being mindful about and making sure that, we aren't supporting those CAFOs and those factory farms and buying just meat and sausage, without a care for how it was raised and if it was raised, So that's the key point.
Yeah. Okay. Another thing is, too, Tom, is just the whole thought process about what we're doing here is that we want to support local people who are making our food, because it just makes the whole much more sense than shipping stuff across the country or between countries. It doesn't make sense to me to do that, because we grow enough food here in our local area, and it's got to be better for us, and then we're used to the environment. If we're getting stuff from Minnesota, well, what do we have in common with Minnesota here in Florida? Nothing except a few snowbirds.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, one thing I want to mention, this last week, you're talking there on your show. I'd heard from a very sound, I thought it was a very sincere source about Steven Spielberg did not allow his kids to watch television until they reached the ages of 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah,
and his reasoning on it was he wanted their minds to be creative.
That's right. And so Bill Gates and also Steve Jobs, and there's a bunch of people like Michael Dell, too, that really had restricted their children from using the iPads, the iPhones, and TV and doing gaming.
Oh, yes. They know that the TV actually has embedded brainwave frequencies that create a hypnotic trance, and there's subliminal messaging that's going on that keeps you in a trance and actually creates the idea that I just need to look at this. It stifles the creativity and what we call the synchronization of both left-right brain thinking, making the whole brain.
It's really like a drug when you get right down to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I had a massage the other day with Hope, my great licensed massage therapist, and she was telling me about her children. She took the TV out of the living room and put it into a separate room that they can only have restricted hours to. Mm-hmm. And it just makes a lot of sense to me, and I've been talking to my wife about just taking the TV out also and putting it in a special room and actually doing away with the cable and maybe paying through iTunes or something like that for specific programs that we want. But I get so much value from the educational stuff that I see on YouTube that I'm watching less and less TV.
That's all I do, too. Yeah. I mean, really, seriously. And you can get everything from your computer, but there's a way you can use your TV as like you do. I mean, that's really cool.
Well, remember, we used to have just a half-hour news, and now we got 24-hour news. It seems like you turn on the channel and you're watching CNN or some other stupid news program.
Sometimes it's connection overload.
It's too much. Yep.
But thanks for that. That's really cool information, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for calling, Tom.
Okay, have a great weekend.
Okay, all right, thanks for your call.
Number here is 877-927-6648. Please take time to pick up my Health Signals newsletter. I got lots of information, and boy, the next one is just loaded with stuff.
And all those great links. I mean, guys, it's like, he puts a lot of time into putting that newsletter together for you. We pull a lot of good information to make you healthier, wealthier, and wiser.
Yeah, and next week, Primal Edge, we're going to have it for sale. You can actually get it next week, so stick around, folks. We'll be right back.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back to the show, folks. This is Nico and Paige on Living a Primal Lifestyle. This is a headline, consumers are losing their taste for cereals. Cereal that was the bedrock of the American breakfast has lost some of its snap, crackle, and pop.
Oh, that's cute. And you know what? It's so funny. It's like Martin Luther King. I have a dream. I have a dream that those aisles of the trans fat, toxic, clear bottled oils that are all rancid before you even buy them, and those boxes of wasted space just start to dwindle down.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Yes, cereals really is a bedrock of the American breakfast for many, many years.
Established by the Kellogg family.
And Post.
And I want you to know that in Dunedin, literally right real close to where my old house is the Kellogg Mansion. It's a beautiful old revival Spanish. And Kellogg was a health freak. He didn't eat his cereal.
No,
he didn't. He did coffee enemas. He drank green drinks. But they came up with this idea. Hey, the masses.
Well, it was actually a neighbor of his brother that said, hey, you guys you got these cornfields, we can make a lot of money.
Right.
I can show you how to extrude extrude it into flakes or whatever we want and make it into something edible.
Right. And then we always know the American breakfast is kind of what's created part of this fattening of our kids and our bodies, because just like we were talking to Tom before, the secret to fattening up a pig was give him skim milk and cereal.
Yeah.
And there you go. So maybe this is a trend, guys.
Well, it just says, I was kind of disappointed because I'm thinking, people are looking at the primal diet or the paleo diet or the ancestral diet.
But they say they're going and eating yogurt.
They're eating yogurt, they're eating granola bars, and they're going through a fast food restaurants more than that. So really that is the wrong approach.
But that might just be put in there because remember the media wants to use the power of suggestion.
That could be.
Yeah, because that still helps to suggest that. They don't want to admit people were actually going back to, healthy
I just want to make the point that this stuff that they're selling us in boxes is not really food. It's not food at all.
It's merchandise.
It never was food until somewhere along the line we discovered that we could actually eat this. But let's think about, because we're all about seasonal and we're all about local food. And if you're eating cereal, you can't be eating it seasonally because the seeds are only there for a couple of weeks.
Right.
So if you're going to eat seed-based foods, you would eat it only when it appears.
Yeah.
So that, I think, would be fine because some of those toxins on a seasonal basis would actually spur your body to create and elevate your immune system to combat that. So it's kind of flushing your system in a way that would be good for you. Eating on a daily basis? No.
No.
So just think about it, folks. If we're eating...
when you're talking about seasonal, when you brought that up, this is a good time to talk about the fall season.
Yes.
And things they can eat. So maybe when we come back on the break, let's highlight some items.
We can definitely do that. But cereals, things in boxes are just no good for you. You've got to, when you take those out of the diet, folks, you're going to notice a huge, huge difference. And another thing he says in this article is that the guy who wrote this article is saying he remembers that he used to take, I think two cereals, Captain Crunch and Frosted Flakes, and mix them together. And he had such a vivid memory of that. So now when he goes in a grocery store, he gets pulled to the aisle of those cereals. And when you smell the bread, you get pulled over there, the bakery.
Oh, they've got all kinds of little things that they put into that. But when you say that about the cereal, I have the same vision, and it's not necessarily a certain cereal, but I can remember getting a bowl, and I would fill it up, and I'd put my milk in, and then I'd eat the cereal, and there'd still be milk, so then I'd add more cereal.
Right.
And the next thing you know, you've eaten like 2 full bowls because you didn't want, you had milk left, so you might as well add the cereal.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And a lot of these cereals, of course, have sweetness in it, but it's even if you eat the cereal without the sweetness, your body thinks it's sugar anyway.
Right.
Because it's a grain, it's a highly processed carbohydrate, and it just turned to sugar in your body, spikes your blood sugar, and then you've got problems, especially if it happens every day. But there's a lot of other foods, too, that are like that, because we've heard about that sugar or cereals or donuts are just as addictive as cocaine. I mean, how often have you heard that in the news in the last couple of years?
Oh, absolutely.
And the shock value of that. And I'll tell you, they're right. And even the saccharins and all these substitutes, now they're really finding out that these things are worse for you than the actual sugar. Now, we're not saying go back to sugar. I'm saying cut this stuff out and let your body detox and get rid of that pull that you get from eating those.
I want to make a point, though, because, when you've got the little blue packet, the yellow packet, the pink packet, the saccharin, the aspartame, and the Splenda. These are sugar substitute chemicals with a sweet-like taste. Stevia is a different situation.
Yes.
However, some stevia is heavily processed. The best thing would be to make your own.
Yeah.
And it's not that hard to do. In fact, there's a workshop, I think, happening locally with one of the organic gardeners that I know here.
Well, I'm more of the thing is just get rid of that taste in your mouth and start getting used to stuff that we were naturally addicted to, which was the sour taste of foods. Have a dill pickle with your meal, that type of thing. So after a while, your body will get used to the different tastes, and you'll get to like these things.
Yeah.
So why not go through that process? I mean, being healthy is a lifetime achievement, and you've got to start now to have that health later.
Absolutely.
So you're not going to get healthy.
It's a cumulative effect.
It's definitely a cumulative effect. So you're not going to say, okay, I'm starting today, and all of a sudden I'm healthy. No, it's a process, and you've got to, of course, convince yourself to do these things. You've got to do research so you're bought into the whole fact. Nothing is worse than saying to somebody like your doctor or anybody, saying, what's good for me, feed it to me.
Right.
Why not feed yourself?
Yeah, and
start making some of this stuff, and then you'll find out what is good for you and what's not. Because when you start making it, you really start getting tuned into it.
And
there's nothing better than cooking
yourself, and you can really enjoy doing that. It can be a great way to connect with your family.
Yep.
But when you said that, nature knows what's good for us, and nature has a season, and a season for foods. So let's just go over a few, because this is a great time to say we're into fall. So start thinking Primal, start shopping Primal, and start to be mindful and say, is this in season? So what's a fruit that we all think of that's seasonal for the fall?
Well,
apples.
Apples is the first thing, yeah.
Apples.
Yeah.
And a great way to have a nice little, I think, a great way to absorb apples is to, steam them a little. I add a little coconut oil.
Yeah, a little cinnamon, too.
At the end. Because sometimes if you put them too soon, then the cinnamon loses its...
Right, you got to it's a topical.
It's
so
topical. So have a little cooked apples, so you still get great fiber. Raw apples. The pomegranate is, a super food, and you're going to start seeing them. We've talked about the pomegranate as something that there's research, evidence-based research from Green Med Info, that an ounce of pomegranate concentrate, again, you're not getting tons of sugar.
Right.
Not drinking 8 ounces of pomegranate juice that's made by Coca-Cola or whoever that is getting sued because they had all that other sugar, but the actual, efficacious, concentrate or the actual fruit put in the blender really helps to unclear the carotid arteries, and there's been research that says can clear them up about 30%, you know?
Well, seasonal fruits are really, really packed with nutrition. If you eat them every day, they don't affect you the same way if you eat them on a seasonal basis. And normal season for things like this is always about 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, and then something else is coming out.
Now, what our ancestors did do with some of these things is sour them, can them, put them in different containers or dry them out and then save them for later and have a little bit with each thing. But as a fresh food, you should eat them only seasonally as a fresh food. Don't eat them from Guatemala and from Argentina and from Chile.
Yeah.
Eat them from your local area, and you get the most benefit out of them.
And it makes sense. It kind of gives a new life to each season and something to treasure.
Well, yeah. You're not eating the same darn thing. I mean, the trouble with Americans is, and I'm part of guilty on this too, is we eat 6 different foods all the time.
Right, and that our body likes to be shaken up a little bit. Brussels sprouts is another great, cruciferous vegetable that's ready and willing. A great Thanksgiving meal that we do is some Brussels sprouts with sweet potatoes.
Yeah, and I like to roast them.
Oh, yeah, delicious.
And I slice them really thin and use sesame oil in them.
Exactly. That's how I do it, too. Yeah. Parsnips, again, it's not one of my favorites, but it is a good...
Well, parsnips I think of more like a added thing to spice up things. Because they have, they have really powerful taste to a parsnip.
Do you like it?
Yes, I do. Very much so. Of course, being from Holland, parsnips and rutabaga and all those things was natural to eat in ours, and my mother always fixed those side dishes for us.
Yeah,
rutabaga, I love that.
See, I can honestly say that I've never been a big rutabaga eater, but I would like to know how to cook them.
Yeah.
We were more into the squash, but again, it's these going into the soil, kind of preparing for the winter, I think. Yeah. So we've got carrots.
So that's the fall, and winter, is really a time, unless you're living in Florida, there's not a lot of produce around in a natural setting. So this is the time that you'll be eating some of those ones you had already prepared, soured, dried out, fermented, whatever you did to them to make them keep. And then use them all winter long. And then by the time spring came around, you were dying for some fresh stuff.
Right,
so this is when the herbs, the little herbs would start coming out in the flowers, and those have nice scents to them. Then you can add them to the meats, and that just is all kinds of new flavors that come in.
And then we were talking about the little herbs as medicine.
Yeah.
So maybe you've been harboring little bugs from the winter and the cold, so the fresh new herbs come out.
Now the spring flush.
Yeah. And another great fruit that's a fall fruit is the pear. And so you got the pear and the apple. So I like to tell people, kind of start looking at these seasonal foods and start working on creating creative recipes for your family, based on these foods.
Yeah, and I remember fruits were kind of a dessert for us.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah, and our family was kind of different in Holland. My dad would give us a special treat every Sunday. And when we were a small kid, he would take this ball and roll it on the ground. He says, this is a magic ball. He'd roll it a few times, and then the third or fourth time he would roll it, and candy would fall out of it. Of course, he had the candy in his hand.
Right.
And we'd go, oh, wow, and then we'd have the candy. But during the week, our dessert was always some kind of fruit, and the pears. My mother would cook the pears and peel them and put a little sugar with it and a little ice cream maybe once in a while, So that's what we used, and that's really nice. And I still kind of treat my fruits kind of as a special thing.
Yeah, and
I don't eat a lot of them, but a nice special little treat.
I think seeing that we can use these, especially in warm foods, like we said, heating up the fruits, and having them almost like a treat is a good thing. But so, you got the cauliflowers and the squash, and these are all some good foods for the fall. But that's really what we're getting at when we're talking about eating primal. Primal's getting back to first things first. And, there's a lot of good nutrition, and nature has its wisdom, and a lot of the, when you look at a pumpkin and squash, and you think of all these yellow and orange, we get a lot of precursors to vitamin A. Vitamin A is real big for immunity, right?
Okay.
I mean, I still prefer animal sources of vitamin A,
Yeah, but I think the other sources are nice additions.
Well, obviously so, and nature programmed that in.
Yeah.
So I think that we're really, really good there.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, I just wanted some people to have some ideas of fall things when you hit the grocery store. Start looking at those, thinking about those root vegetables, those bright orange, yellow, sweet potatoes, rutabagas. We kind of covered it. I think when you said that about eating seasonal, I wanted to remind people. Yeah. These are some of the seasonal things.
So some of the things, the other study was about the saccharin.
The artificial sweet, the pink packet.
That's the pink packet, and I really recommend people just to do away with those things. Stevia. I know you like stevia.
I do like stevia.
And a lot of people do, and I think it's really better for myself is to just do away with it and get used to that more sour type of taste. We gravitate to the sweet stuff.
Well, I hear what you're saying, because you've got to retrain your brain not to crave that sweet taste.
I think there was a natural craving for us to have that because it was so rare that when we did find that pot of honey, let's say, that we would probably scarf down the whole darn thing. And that would be a nice detox for us.
Yeah.
But on a regular basis, it's useless and quite detrimental to our health because we know that our whole society is heading towards that diabetes curve.
Yes.
And anything sweet is going to, help you along the way.
But I do want to preface that stevia, being an herb that just happens to have a sweet taste, actually has pancreatic beta islet cell repair mechanisms.
Okay.
But there's another part that I will say, knowing myself, always fighting that 10 pounds or something, first of all, we need to eliminate these artificial sweeteners.
Yes.
And you should carry your own stevia. You see me, I carry my own because I know that it's one that's not heavily processed. Right. And I want to make sure that I don't make a bad choice.
Yeah, because there's so many of the stevias around that are actually not that great.
Yeah.
And I don't know that much about stevia, but I know you have a great source for it, so.
Yeah, and but my goal here was just, when you brought up that article, is just to let's get away from all the artificial chemical sweeteners that were made to create addictions.
Oh boy, we're up on a break already. We're having too much fun here. Folks, we're going to be back in a couple of minutes. You still a chance to give us a call. And of course, Health Signals newsletter. Please subscribe to that. Number here is 877-927-6648. We'll be right back.
Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Up next, the Diagnostics Trading Hour with Daryl Martin here on TFNN.
Welcome back, listeners, and I'm Paige, and this is Nico. And, there's an article that you shared with me, why prominent Dr. Ezekiel Emanuel says, I hope to die at 75.
You know, it's funny. Emanuel was being interviewed by Joe Kernan on MSNBC, and Tom was in there at the time.
Oh, he was? Oh, okay.
And he was just ripping this guy apart. And he says, why would you want people to die at 75? That's not if you read the whole article, it's actually saying he'd rather be healthy and die at 75 than have my life extended and be a cripple or being sick with autoimmune disease or dementia or anything else and live for another 15 or 20 years.
Yeah, but I'm sure a lot of the people that think some of these bioethicists are advocating, end of life, let's cut them off.
No, he wasn't talking about that. And that's really what I hate about the news, because they've got to have their zingers. They've got to turn something into a headline. And, this guy was saying, well, if you start today and start investigating on how to eat healthy and not take pharmaceuticals, then at 75 you'll be healthy.
And you will enjoy your life.
If you do a natural death at 75, to me, that's very satisfying. I don't want to be sick for 30 years and live to 75 or 80 or 110 or 120. And that's my whole game, too, is I want to be healthy. Now I'm 70 years old. I want another 70, but not in a wheelchair, not with dementia. I mean, I've got a pact with my wife, because we were looking into the disability insurance and stuff like that and the cost of it. I says, heck, hon, I says, if I'm disabled for 6 months, no problem. I can handle that cost. But if I'm disabled for 4 years, we're going to move to Oregon, and in 6 months I can take my own life. And euthanasia, because I don't want to live like that. I want to live, and our ancestors knew this, because if the baby was born deformed, they put it in, drowned it in the water or whatever they did to it. They didn't have, they knew to survive we needed healthy people. So, the people who were sick died. And that's fine with me. I think if you're conscious and you're living a great life, and if something happens to you or you don't have that quality anymore, I think it's your prerogative to take whatever measures you need to satisfy yourself.
Okay, so I want to just make a comment here. In the article it talks about where our life expectancy was only 47 years. Today, Americans can expect to live to the ripe old age of 79. Well, personally, I think that we were engineered to live to be 120. Okay? So. However, so why, a lot of people say to me, Paige, your natural stuff, people are living longer because of modern medicine. I do not agree. People are living longer, sicker, okay? And that's what's happening, and they're creating annuities by having them on 10 drugs that then creates a deficiency here. Just look around, because we live in Florida and there's an older population. Why I think that we died at 47 was we were victims of our own circumstance.
Well, remember, that's also an average age.
Well, I know, but listen, at 47, back when it's hard to believe at the turn of the last century, the average American life expectancy was just 47. What happened at the last century? The Industrial Revolution happened. All of a sudden, we're polluting everything. We're creating all these, mass crowding in cities, and germs are taking over. Our wisdom had not caught up with our knowledge, guys. That's a key word. That's where we're at. We need our wisdom to catch up with our knowledge. So we were polluting and, just expanding, but we didn't take concern for creating situations, so I call it germ and hygiene things, didn't catch up. So then we finally caught up, but now, we've got people who are utilizing a system to live longer but not well. And so can I read what he said? Because
we've only got 10 seconds left.
Oh, okay, well then I can't read it. But anyways, the whole point of it is that, it's living longer, healthier. Whether it's 75 or 120, guys, we want you to live healthier. We're going to live healthier. And when we find ideas, we're going to share them with you. And we want you to let us know what you hear.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for sticking around. Next week, we have everything ready to go. We're going to be launching our new product. So
get your Tiger Dollars, or what do you call it?
Tiger Dollars.
Get your Tiger Dollars together. Be amongst the first to order. Take advantage of our first shipment. It's here in the studio. We're ready to go next Friday.
You're going to love it. Thanks for sticking around.
Stay healthy. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.